Big ass freaking fishes. There it goes.
Helps if I pull the microphone down on this new headset. Got sound now, Josh? Looks like it's throwing the output over here. So I was saying I meant to start it a little earlier, but my daughter wanted to go to Burger King, so we had to do that. Wanted to do a video real quick and then go eat, but that didn't happen. You know, she is, and it was just the youngest daughter and I tonight, so I had to do that. So, anyway, I was saying it's a little late, like 9 o'clock here. It's probably 10 or 11 for some of you guys, or unless you're in the communist state of California or liberal Looneyville, Oregon or something. But anyway, yeah, I don't have a whole lot to go over this week. A couple interesting service calls I was just going to let play or whatever, and then just chit-chat about them or whatnot. Some of the stuff I put up in the folders, and then I kind of forget about it. I meant to do maybe a live stream earlier in the week or something. Someone says no sound. The sound's working now, though, right? Shows it going out. Josh Boomer, I think he said, yeah, the sound is working, right? Sound working? Okay. Right when I typed, somebody came back in there. Okay. Yeah, because I mean, I got this thing cranked. I've got the compressor on here. But if you put the microphone up, like when I walk to the bathroom, so the microphone has to be down for it to have sound. So, yeah, a couple interesting service calls. One today, here, I'll put the video or the photo up here. This canal, you know, which I was looking at from way up on the building, you can't see through it when you're down close to it, like right here. It's all murky and green. Look at all algae and stuff. And the water was moving at a pretty good click. And there's a bunch of crap and debris in there. But when I was up there looking over the parapet wall, I was like, is that a fish? You know, and there was a freaking couple fish in that thing. Where did I put the other video real quick?
There it goes.
So, yeah, I think it's right here. Watch, because a lot of crap in there, but I had to keep looking. It was hard to, I was zooming in from up on the roof. But there's a big-ass fish. It was like 20 inches or something down in there. Not this right here. That's trash, but you'll it kind of comes in focus right there, right here. Look, right here on the screen. You can see it. I think I can hit the space bar. Right here. Look at that big sucker.
There, got away.
Right there. And you know, I brought up my good Sony camera that has the 30x optical zoom, and then the sucker like swam out of my view. I was like, dang it. But yeah, it's right here. Look at that sucker. It was huge. It was in the canal. And actually, at one point, I saw like two of them swimming next to each other. But I don't know. That's weird. Now it's back. That's weird how that turned itself off. It's back, right? So I was asking AR420. You know, he says Palm Desert. Is that up here in Arizona somewhere? And then he said lifting up a 75-pound motor, so it'd be like a heavy-duty 5-horse or maybe a light-duty 7.5. I don't know. Once you start to get a 10, 15 horse, they get really heavy. Let me put this thing down here so I can see when the bar graph. I just got this headset, so I don't know if it's going to start doing some weird stuff. That will suck. So it is a Logitech headset, so it would match the Logitech software that I already got. You know, so you can turn stuff on and everything. So, yeah. I already got the keyboard and everything, and mouse. I don't really do games, though. But that's what this stuff's all for. All right. Sounds like it has a low frequency filter. Is that just my voice? I wonder if it's because I have the compressor a little aggressive. I don't know if it's got to be changed. Let's see, filters. Well, I'm not going to mess with it right now, but I got a couple video clips maybe in here. The one I should play, the Daikin one. So I got a Daikin Rebel. Those are full variable frequency drive. They call them VRVs instead of VRF like other people. So, dude, I was looking for a leak on this bastard. Pause.
That's an AC unit. Oh,
looking for a leak on this unit, man, and it took me a while to find it. So let me play this video, and then you guys can check it out, and you can ask me some questions or whatever, and then we'll just chit chat about it. But so Daikin, man, yeah, they're I don't know, not that impressed. I mean, this one these units right here, the Rebels, they make you want to be impressed because they're using a variable speed rotary compressor, variable speed drive, which is in this box right here, and you know, the Microtech whatever 3 controller or whatever. But these are the ones that have issues that the power glitches at all. Although I don't know if it'll show it in here, but I did notice that these units here came with some new crazy little style of 3-phase monitors. And I noticed when I turned the power off and back on, it kept the microprocessor off for several minutes before it reset. And that might be Daikin's fix, perhaps, unless it was just something that was just added to this build. But anyway, there was a leak at this place, and this is one of the places I've been going and working on some of this stuff. And basically, I guess a maintenance guy said, hey, there's something about refrigerant and oil leak. And I'm thinking, well, what does he know? You know, so I get up there and go on the roof, and the guy wasn't kidding. And it's still under warranty through us. So I checked it out. It took me a while to find this stupid leak. So, yeah, VRF units, look at monkey films there. VRF units are definitely exploding on the market. I mean, we've been seeing them in Mitsubishis and stuff like that for a while, and LGs, but now it's like a lot of people are going, and now the residential stuff is coming back with it. Train, I always keep saying this, had them in the early 90s. You know, it was just ahead of its time. But yeah, now it's like showing up everywhere, especially in commercials. So let me play this video for you guys. Check this unit out here, and this is this one I had to diagnose.
There's HP11. Yeah, the snake would have bit me. Oh man, they said there was oil coming from it. I mean, I never would have guessed. Huh. I don't see it running down. It's coming from up here. Oh, it's coming out of this coil for sure, or something. What the heck? Or someone just dumped something here, or took a piss or something. That was not me. That's weird. This should be coming out of that. You should see it on the coil. Don't look now, but somebody is using a freaking drone, I think, to spy on me. Look at that right there. I don't know if you can see it with my camera, but I was like, what the heck is that sound above me? And I hear bzzz, freaking drone. There was a drone above me. Probably from the contractor down below. And I guess the on-site maintenance guy is the one that saw this. I expected this to be a total BS call. You know, it's still under warranty through us, but I just don't know. There's oil. Oh, it's right there. Something broke. Something broke for sure. What's that there? Well, I need to take my pressures. I doubt there's any refrigerant even left in here. Okay, you Daikin bastard. So all this line I pulled off, going from the reversing valve up to the little splitter fitting over to the 2 compressors, this was just absolutely full of oil. The maintenance technician already had it cut open right in this area. And with all the oil that was just full all the way down here, you know, I was thinking, all right, maybe the leak is in here. I've been looking and looking. Oh no, I'm like, had one little piece of insulation left on this section right here. I'm like, don't tell me it pissed its way up from down here, up and down the insulation with the power of the refrigerant. Well, I guess it did. Because there's my leak right there. Right there. How about that? Leak is here. Compressor was not that oily, but yet it was soaked. Of course, now I've sprayed it with the blue leak detect, but it was already soaked with oil. This whole section down, all through here was all oily. But I didn't really have much oil going down the compressor. It's pretty dry around out here. But most of this you see now is what I just sprayed on there. So the oil leaked here, the insulation wrapped around, and it kind of just went over here. Freaking thing. Freaking distracted me. Threw me off. Man, that whole bottom is split. That whole fitting. It's right where the factory swage is. Oh yeah, look at that. See that? Let's see if we can get that close up. Look at that. So I have to like run a bead all around that, I think, to fix that up. Anyway, all right, found it. Let's get to it. Getting ready to wash out the oil. It's just everywhere. This is one thing that really fools me on this freaking unit is it had oil all the way back here, kind of under the condenser, but it was dry. It doesn't take much oil to make a stain all the way down here. Of course, I don't know, the maintenance guy, maybe he uses some leak detect, and maybe some of that is actual soap spray. And I used some. This is crazy because this section from there to here was just full of oil, but it was fairly dry here on the compressor. The leak was right here. Get ready to spray down this with just a little bit of yellow death. More new construction woes. That is the synthetic water pressure I get out of the hose bib that they dedicate up on the rooftop. The only way I get any pressure is if I let it, close it off and let it build up when I first opened it. Charges up the hose. The volume sucks. Pressure kind of sucks too, but you can't even keep the hose pressurized. Look at that dedicated hose bib, and it sucks ass. And then that's the flow you get. That's it. Crap. Finally got this bastard done. Cleaned out the oil as good as I could. Yellow death. Flush that out down there and clean up down here a little bit. Got rid of most of that oil that was over there. Yeah, nothing like leaving false evidence that we fixed the leak. Just take the infill back on there. Yeah. This brand cursed themselves once they bought out Goodman. Way too much to rattle and break. Man, look at that. I mean, it's a nice attempt to make, you know, so look at that thing vibrate. Look at that. Dang. That's pretty big. I hold my phone up against this pipe. Look at that. What the hell? I wonder if that's normal or one of these rotaries is out of balance or something. No wonder that thing leaks. But we'll let it go. Going out in 57-degree air. All right. Been here most of the day. Time to get out of here.
So yeah, that thing kicked my ass. It took me like a while to find that leak. Usually when there's no refrigerant and there's oil like everywhere, you just put nitrogen in it and find it. And the nitrogen was dropping. I could faintly hear it, but there's like, I don't know, 15 of these Rebel units around me, but another 10 or so mini splits, and then they had all those LGs up there. Not LGs, but the LG-like Daikin big multiple, split systems. Yeah, so the leak was like right there, man. And there wasn't that much oil on the compressor. All the oil was over here on this frickin' where the two suction lines met, because it splits off the two compressors. Weird. But, a maintenance guy looked at it, and he had the insulation already cut back right here, so he might have been spraying something in there. Maybe it threw me off. So, I don't know. Pretty crazy. So, this is a factory swage joint, and it was cracked all the way around, so I just freaking soldered the shit out of it with some Silfloss that I put it in the video. But anyway, yeah, what was that? I think that's cursed till it gets a new compressor. It seems, and after I was done, did you see the vibrations? Daikin bought out Goodman's. I don't know. I think it's the Goodman curse. And speaking of getting my ass kicked, I was on the rooftop, before that one, working on this one right here. It was not flat on refrigerator, but it was low. And I opened that sucker up, and look at this. I'm like, here's your common suction header, or going down to the bottom section. going up here to spine fit, every one of these branches had pretty much an equal amount of dirt stuck to the oil and what seemed to be a leak. I mean, like, has to have a leak in here, you'd think. And you see, like, this side over here, it's fine, but right here, this aluminum where it goes aluminum to copper, I'm like, one of these has got to be leaking or something. I could not find the leak. You turn that up on let's see here. For right now. Those are actually coming from my phone, which syncs to the computer like in almost real time. So all my apps notify here on the computer. I can actually click and reply to a text, messenger, or whatever right there on this computer. I don't know if you guys have seen Phone Companion app. Seems to work really good on the Samsung phones. And it's made by Microsoft, so it works for Windows 10. It's pretty cool. I can actually open my phone with my phone being on a charger over there or whatever, and open the phone on the screen and totally use the apps and everything through the computer. I think at home it just goes through the Wi-Fi, and on my Surface Pro or Surface Go or whatever, when I'm out and about, I think it does it through Bluetooth. Anyway, comment what you're saying. Igor says it needs a compressor, like you've come up from it vibrating. Yeah, I'll have to see what's up with that thing. But it seemed like that thing was vibrating a little excessive, wasn't it? So, choir boys only use Mac. Mac sucks. I hate those things. In fact, I got to find a Macintosh cable. You know, they have to be different. They can't use USB-C or whatever like everybody else. And cable just took a crap. So actually, the iPad's going to be dead by Monday down in my work truck. That's what they give me to use. It's a piece of junk. So I carry a Surface Go, which is mine. I like to use it sometimes if I want to use drag and drop or just some things like a regular computer. It's the interesting thing, like I asked Best Buy when I was buying, I go, will this thing charge the USB-C port? Or is that only just for connections? They said only connections and won't charge through it. Like, bummer. And it has a different magnetic, power plug than my old Pro. So I didn't have a 12-volt style, plug-in for it. I'm like, dang it. But you know what? Contrary to what that guy said, if you put a good power supply to the USB-C cable, it does charge. And I hardly ever plug in the regular 120-volt, magnetic connected power supply to my Surface Go tablet. It's been charged 99% of the time through the USB-C cable connector plugged into the cigarette lighter. So that's awesome. I even plugged in, I think, my little battery, the 10,000 milliamp hour little, remote charger to it, and it seemed to be working. So that's actually pretty cool. The only negative thing about that I found out one day is when I left without the 120 volt, magnetic charger. If you need the USB-C port for like connecting the USB devices, like when I was connecting to the Daikin, guess what? I couldn't charge it at the same time because I have a USB hub plugged into that. So you need to remember to bring the charger sometimes. Anyway, I was from China. MAGA. Oh man, yeah, I've got myself a MAGA mask. It says MAGA 2020 Trump. Real big. It's black, not red. And I got it for when I have to wear a face diaper or your shame muzzle that they're making people wear. That's absolutely probably worse at spreading the virus than just not having one at all. It's just about social conditioning, just to make you look like a slave or something. But anyway, don't get me started on the face diapers. But I hardly ever wear one unless somebody just absolutely insists. And so I've been starting to get more bold with wearing the Trump one, especially when I go into call centers where all these effeminate little social justice warriors work and stuff. And sure enough, I wore one through that place at this place, and oh man, I could feel the heat. These people, you could tell it was just disturbing them to the bottom of their soul, just seeing me wear that saying Trump 2020. These guys, I could see it, and they were nudging, like pointing at me. I just kind of looked out of the corner of my eye, and like it got the desired effect. I know those people, they probably called in sick the next day just from having to see that and the mental distress that they probably had from seeing the Trump mask. They wear all their gay stuff that they wear in there, but heaven forbid you wear something that's just you're president of your country, on there, you got to have the country hating you for it. But it's so funny. I have another one I got. It took a month to come from Amazon, and it's got a rebel flag and then says Trump on top of it. That one I do not bring to work, but someday there might be an opportunity to wear it, on my own time, just to really piss off someplace when I absolutely need to use some facility and they absolutely make me wear a mask. That bitch is going on. Yeah. Their baby killer is gone. Oh, yeah. I don't know why that took me about 2.5 seconds to realize what you're saying, John. But, yeah, she's in the fire right now. I hated her. So now I know it's not a political channel, but I know that this country is getting ready to have a shitstorm possibly ahead of us. And right now it's like they're freaking out. And it's funny, I watched these people put these clips together of CNN, all these people back when Barack Obama was still president, about them saying, no, it was his last term or whatever. And he instilled somebody, and they're like saying, or was going to, I guess he didn't, because they didn't have what are they saying, that they didn't occupy the presidency and whoever actually votes it in, but they still were the news was saying he should do it. So all the same news people that are pissed right now that Trump has the opportunity to do it and should do it because it's Republican, they're going to do the vote. They're freaking out, but all those same people just so many years ago just were saying the other way around, that it's the president's duty. So it's just funny. And CNN, all them, people could show evidence and then they'll just double down and just keep saying their lies. This is crazy. That president thinks they should do this. It's like, what the hell? You said something different 4 years ago. Yeah, read your comments here before I go on with this thing. The Airbnb couple tried to get a refund because the house had a Trump sign and it made them feel afraid. Everybody told them to be proud and thankful. Nice. Buy ammo. We'll need lots of ammo. Yeah, I handed out a 50 round pack of my 9mm that I just carry in my truck for extra to my friend when we went out shooting a couple weekends ago, like almost a month ago now, I guess. And then after that, I went, well, let me go by Cabela's and just get some more ammo. I went in, I'm like, what the hell? I didn't realize the shelves were already cleared, and I hadn't been buying any while I could. So I got a lot of 223, a lot of 22 long rifle that I had started getting once we were able to get that again. Was getting low on the 12 gauge, and Cabela's was out, but then I was just in Walmart like a week ago, and they had some big boxes of 100, so I bought a couple 100 bird shot, But you always got to have 12 gauge bird shot, but 9mm is what I'm getting low on. I probably only have a couple 100 rounds of it now, so kind of cringing on that. There must be a freaking timer on this thing, huh? Yeah, and I have the bar graph over here. I can see that it's back. What the hell? So, anyway, I don't know when it cut out, but I was answering John HVAC there about what kind of judges or whatever. So I was saying those guys might be mixed up, but at least like Kavanaugh or something, he probably has some self of morality, even if it's misdirected or for the wrong reasons. But it's still better than RGB, huh? Oh man, that thing split hell wide open. So anyway, we're gonna go. So back on the focus of this unit here. Here's another angle. You can see there's like no oil, not much on the TXV anywhere in here. But it's like, except for here, it's like pretty evenly. Oh, I thought either it's here and it's pulling up, or it's leaking up here and it's dripping down. But like I said, it's oiled all the way over to the top of this thing here. I've seen leaks up here. I checked all of this thing. I had the whole top of that train, glorified residential unit. Look, here it is again. I had this whole thing apart, the whole top of it. Pulled all this off. I could not find it. I don't know, my electronic is not sniffing very well. There's another view of that unit. But, yeah. So, look, I wiped it all off real nice as far as I could, with the towel. And because I sprayed so much bubble on it, I could not find it. So this is our first time doing any service to this unit. So, this is a cross your fingers and cringe movement stuff. Cringe movement, and especially when you've been doing this for a long time, you just feel dirty, just topping it off with like 3 pounds of refrigerator, whatever it took to get it right. You're like, dude, there's got to be a leak. Although when I did pull off my hose when I was done, it did piss out the Schrader core a little bit, and then I fixed it, put a new cap on it. But there wasn't really oil down there, and just seeing all this on here, I don't know. We're going to have back the old picture. So, yeah, it just bothered me. I just thought for sure, seeing all this right here, that there's a leak. Well, that's rubber coating there, but all this, just on all these lines, just all up here, everything, like where'd it come from? Gotta be leaking. I don't know. So, audio still working, yeah. Anything else? I did, somebody asked me about this stuff. I know I've done some video clips before, I think, of me using it, but putting in a pneumatic controller right here. I took out this old junker right here, put in the Titus 2, which is like a universal, and they stock it at United Refrigeration. Having good luck with that. See, I got 57-degree air. It's actually about 55-ish, when it's open, like coming from that big train and telepack on the roof. So this is my squeeze bulb kit. So I can unplug the thermostat and just set it. So I got like 7.5, like you're halfway, like your neutral area on your thermostat, and just kind of getting the minimum air and everything right there. This one was direct acting. So as temperature went up, the pressure went up from the thermostat. But then this is normally closed and reverse acting. So it puts pressure to the piston to close the damper. And most of these ones like this were the other way around. So this place is so hodgepodge, everything's different. So anyway, so I use Testo. And you're reading like 0 to 15 PSI mostly, so I just stick this. This is on the split and the output. So it's so cool because it would take forever to watch it the other way. But now that we have Testos, and this is Bluetooth hooked up to the tablet here, 66 degrees. This is reading in the other room. It's a spinning little wheel, just reading feet per minute of air. I could kind of see what it's doing with the frickin' Bluetooth Testo stuck in a vent in there. And then I have a PSI, which is this. You can see it was at 8.6. I was trying to get like in that neutral area right there, just cracking it open. So I was just getting this a little bit of air. And then when the thermostat pushes more pressure right here, then this box, these boxes, I don't know if everybody here has worked on these, and I'm still learning on pneumatics, but they also have the MagnaHelic low and high ports before and after the the VAV plugged into it. So it's pretty weird. These things actually have like their own little feedback. It's all mechanical, like an old car transmission. It's a bunch of springs and diaphragms and everything, and opposed pressures and everything. And you turn these little adjusters like real slow and just dial it in. So pretty interesting to watch them work. And like I said, this was like an old one. I'd never seen this style before. Velocity controller. Yeah, it's like all these crazy adjustments, dude. People were smart that made that stuff. And of course, here's thermostat I put on. I took off the old Barbara Coleman or whatever it was, or Johnson Control. I like to put on these Honeywells. They stock at this place. So they look pretty cool when they're on there. Pneumatic. Hear the air hiss when you flip it. Original reason I was working on that one there is because their thermostat blew out and it was just hissing all the time. Just, and then you got a big compressor on the roof filling that up. So here's another video I'll play just real quick. This is old. This is nothing new to the seasoned techs, but just for maybe the newer guys might like it. But here's just a typical walking up to a unit and knowing that the outdoor fan motor is going out. So yeah, the place you did the condenser fan recently. Yeah, I don't remember if I put anything like this in there. I can't remember. So let me play this video for you guys. It's only a couple minutes long.
This is a good example of an outdoor fan motor that is about to die. Start. Yeah, this sounds very healthy. Now we have the old motor next to the new one. Old one was made by GE. The new one, I don't really see who it's made by, but it's got the service first stamp on it, which is a line of Train. Sometimes it indicates they're more inexpensive, yet still OEM line of products. That just happened to be what they pulled up. So, has the OEM part number on the box, MOT 18709, which is what superseded the original one. So here, you can tell that this bearing's toast. It's got side play. And so while you can spin it, and it's a little bit of friction there, but if you push it to one angle, it's locked up. Try to turn it. And that's what happens when you have side plate. The bearings and a magnetic field applies. It'll start, the armature will start contacting the stator and it'll bind up. But eventually it'll just totally lock up, you know. So sometimes you could actually spin a motor freely when there's no power energized, but then when you power it up and it cocks it from the magnetic field, it'll bind up. This one feels like a smooth ball bearing motor. So this is ball bearing, and this pretty sure is just sleeve bearings. So, okay, we got the new motor capacitor installed. Let's give a little listen. Sounds a little better. Started up a whole lot quicker too. The other one I was binding up, I was pulling nearly locked rotor amps. For a good 10 seconds or so.
Yeah, so, pretty typical stuff there. And Josh Palmer's asking the place I did the condenser fan motor. Are you talking about the IntelliPack? Like I did maybe a month ago or something. I had another one of those big 1-horse motors go down again. Unless you're talking about that fitness gym I was at a couple weeks ago where they had 2 condenser fan motors on Voyagers. That was different. Yeah, that new motor is smooth, John. Yeah, real smooth. So I think that's most of the videos I had. Other than where a couple of other things just to show you guys as updates right before I get done with the video. But here's one other video. A couple months ago, you know, my security cameras caught like bums getting into my stuff, you know, into the bulk trash. We have bulk trash pickup every couple months or something, so they did it again, and my wife's like, put that daughter's dresser and stuff out there. So here I am, I'm putting that dresser out there. Well, folks, you just can't make this up. It's just telling somebody earlier about how I put out this one. Anyway, I was gonna narrate with my mic, but basically I put that out there. And later on, and this is funny, man, it's like, it wasn't bums that come and get the stuff. It's an actual 2 guys in a big, like, 1-ton truck and a trailer. They just totally went through all that stuff, man. It's crazy what they took. They go through stuff, you know, and so this box here, dang, thanks for the heads up, guys. Stupid mic. All I'm doing to reset it is turn it up, back down. So I just say these guys, this box is just cardboard boxes, but this other box was a box of trash from my projects room, and so I just have to force myself to throw stuff away sometimes. So it was like computer motherboard and a bunch of just junk, right? Little tinkering stuff, old electronic parts, like nothing even good and together, mostly just junk. And I threw a couple boxes of that out, and these guys took them. And they took the dresser, the dresser was actually working. I have it sitting on its side, and it has a mirror and everything to it. It was just sticky with like peanut butter and jelly for my freaking teenager. It's been in her room, but yeah, they take some of the boxes of stuff. They look through it and go, oh, I'm gonna take it. Oh, that first box was the neighbor's box, I think, or something, and then they took mine right there and put it in there. And then they take the dresser and everything, and they pretty much live that. My pile went from that to like that, and they actually left the one box, which is just empty cardboard boxes. They just left it in the neighbor's stash. So basically, yeah, before the bulk trash people even came today and got it, they took that stuff out. Oh well, I mean, they did it out in the open. It wasn't that late. The neighbors were out working on the car. They weren't doing anything wrong. They were just recycling, basically. So, I mean, whatever. The one that made me nervous, I don't know if I showed you guys, but a couple months back when they did the last one, two different, like, bums, like derelicts came over. One walked and one rode his bike, and you could tell they were in the next door park. And we're like in more of a private community. They come around and came in here, and they dug through our stuff. And I looked at it on there, and the one guy, he dug through it, and then he just looked at it. He had a piece of paper, like he looked at and unfolded, and he put it in his pocket and left. That freaked me out. I was like, dude, is he going to use my name and address or something? I mean, did I leave some trash in there with all my information on it? Pretty weird, but yeah. Too bad I didn't have a piss stain treatment. Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything against these guys right here. I mean, man, I mean, if they're going to clean that up, and even if they sell it, I mean, they're going to have to put some work, you know, they'll have to, I mean, they're putting work into it, and they're doing something. It's a purpose. You know, these guys ain't bums standing on the corner asking for money. I have nothing against these guys. I mean, it's an old truck. That's like a 1-ton, man, in a trailer. So, I mean, whatever. That's fine with me, you know. So, and they didn't do this like at 1 in the morning, you know, like the derelicts do. This is like just when the sun went down. So, just a couple of updates. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it, except for I don't really have much in the picture category of. What are you doing thing? It's been glitching sometimes. Uh-oh. YouTube is full of videos from these guys. Oh, there it goes. That was a weird lick. So, you guys know that my upstairs unit, that's running off a 3-phase unit that I'm feeding single-phase power in to the VFD to run a 3-phase compressor. And then I got the solar kind of tapped into it, but it's only just sharing the current load when the sun's up. It's still not the way I want it. I made an external temporary DC rectifier because I was just worried about blowing up the one in the VFD, because the VFD is a 3-phase rectifier and it's rated as that, and I think sticking all that current through just a couple of the terminals, it might be overloading the diode pack in there. So I've been running an external diode pack for like over a month now, maybe closer to 2 months. The one I put the fan on and everything, and it's working fine. It's, all the power goes through it before it hits the VFD. There is no AC power tied into my VFD at all anymore. So, electric bill. Yeah, about that, I can't make an honest comparison at all, because from last year and the couple years before, my wife was at work every day. The kids were in school. Until you hit the part of the summer, but then I would keep the upstairs like at 80, 81 degrees, and then maybe drop it to 80 or something, and then once we hit that 7 o'clock at night or whatever, because that time of use, I would kick it down to like 78, and that's as low as I was running it. Well, I put this unit in, and then also the stupid COVID thing happened from the pandemic, and the wife's home all the time. My friend's staying with us, renting one of the rooms, so the kids are here, so guess what? Air isn't getting turned up. In fact, I've ran the air down lower than I've ever ran it, so I've been running it like 76. I just kicked it up to 77 lately now that it kind of dried out a little bit, but I ran it low. No, that other Goodman unit's still running. It didn't die yet. But anyway, so yeah, everybody's been here. The AC's been running. The AC's been running turned down. More hot water. Oh, the grandma has been here for a month now, so she runs a lot of hot water. So we're using more electricity, like obviously. So I can't even do a actual comparison. And then the other thing I think I heard, and I've yet to check on it, is that the electric bill rates went up. And I would just figure that they do that during this stupid scamdemic thing right now, but I'm not sure. I haven't confirmed that. So what I need to do is I'm going to go through my the utility website and pull up one of my bills from like July or August, I guess, 1 month ago of 2019, and then I'm going to print it out, and I'm going to print out the one for last month, and then I'm going to actually go through and kind of look at the actual rates and taxes and things like that and calculate them, see if they've snuck some stuff in there. Like, maybe the federal tax went up because, hey, when they give out bonuses to corporations, picking winners and losers for the pandemic, for the scary COVID, that isn't the government paying shit. That's us paying it. So, and they don't just tax you in things that you can avoid. It's always like federal little surcharges they sneak into your gas bill and your electric bill and your Verizon bill and your cable bill and your internet bill and all that stuff. That's where the government gets all this little money from, and they call it like federal ancillary charge or something weird. So when my bills hit the $400 range in the summer, there's like a $40, it's about 10% of it. There's like a $40 freaking tax, just one of the taxes, and then there's like 2 or 3 other taxes that are smaller, running in parallel, charging you per kilowatt hour that you use. So the more electricity you use, the more that tax goes up too. But you could still calculate the percentage. I want to see what's changed. So I'm going on, but eventually I want to look up that excise tax. Yeah, they got all this stuff they pull out of their ass, and just the way they word it, and the way they talk about it, and the way they say, oh, yeah, we're gonna do this tax or whatever this through the media. Nobody pays any attention, but then they wonder why all their utility bills start going up and everything, because that's where they sneak that shit. It's not in your income tax. It's in things that you buy and consume, and things that you have to have, like utilities and gasoline to drive your car, because it's like 40-50 cents a gallon in federal tax for your car. And anyway, now they're trying to figure out how to change that, since more and more electric cars on the road. They're not getting that for those people. Anyway, yeah, so we hit collectively like 500 and something bucks for last month. I think it was like 540 between. And when I say collectively, it's because I have a utility bill, and then I have a bill from Tesla for the solar on grid that's on the roof, and that I pay. It's a purchase, but it's based on kilowatt hours or whatever, and so that stays about the same because it's all producing. Shut up, cat. But the utility one was a good $100, $150 more, or whatever it was, than it has been this time of the year. So our lifestyle changed. And I think the tax might have changed on top of it, so I can't compare. You'd think the 3-ton in place of the 4-ton should be more efficient. I was always worried about the way, if it's inefficient going through that DC, but it's only using the power it's using, but who knows? Maybe it makes the APS meter read a little wrong or something. That's one reason. Other reason I want to do this. So this here, it's kind of pathetic, but I was desperate for an enclosure to put my electronics in. So there was this old big disconnect on the roof, 3-phase disconnect, so I took it home. I should have cleaned it a little more. I was trying to wipe it down when I was taking the picture and noticed how dirty it still was, but oh well. So I made an order. So this is a reactor I acquired. I bought some of these like terminal blocks, which I probably should have gotten some larger ones because I'm going to have to make these ends smaller to go on there. And I have one over here where the AC power is going to go in and it's going to go down to the rectifiers. But this is the heat sink hanging. I cut a hole through the bottom of this with the plasma cutter, and then I siliconed it. So it's sealed. The idea is not to have to use a cooling fan. So hopefully this cools off the electronics enough. Fuck this audio, huh? I don't know when you guys could stop hearing me. So I'll go back to the beginning on this part. I was going to say this is the AC power probably. It'll come in here, 230 volts. Go in, it's going to hit the bridge rectifiers here. Come out positive right to the capacitors. The negative is going to pass through the MOSFETs, doing pulse width modulation through the reactor coil up here. Then over the negative side will go to the capacitors. A microprocessor board I'll be putting in this thing. It will be up here somewhere. One or two of microprocessors. The one's going to like read the voltage and then just vary the pulse width modulation here. This is going to be coming right off the rectified AC power, so it's still going to be, you know, the sine waves just rectified. So I'm going to experiment. I did it with a 24 volt transformer, like scaled down to 24 volts instead of 240 volts, and with a one MOSFET, and it worked. You know, it was just regulating like to make it into 12 volts that way, varying the pulse width modulation, and it worked. It worked just fine. I figured it would. So I'm going to be tapping right off that sine wave. The invert, you know, it's going to be inverted, rectified, you know, sine wave. So if I regulate my DC bus down from 330 to 300 to 300 volts, 295, somewhere in there, like the minimum the VFD is going to like. The one thing is it should start pulling current like earlier in that sine wave hump. And more spread out, but it'll be pulse width modulation. So it'll be like a, you know, time divided, you know, a pulse, hundreds of them within one sine wave. But it'll spread out, averaging out the current, you know, throughout more of the sine wave. I think a little earlier, since I'll be running the voltage lower. So the sine wave will be earlier in the amplitude before it crosses the charged voltage in the capacitor and start pulling current. And then of course once the solar, this is the main reason. Once the solar starts producing power and the sun comes up, the solar is 330 volts. It's going to be higher voltage than the 300 I'm regulating. So basically, my pulse width modulation won't even start bringing any utility power to the equation except when my DC bus, the capacitors, drops below 300 volts. So basically, if the solar can keep it above 300 volts, at all times, it won't use any utility power, which is what it'll get from, like, you know, the noon and a couple hours before noon and a couple hours after noon. It should run that AC solely off of the solar. So I should get, you know, during the middle of the summer, I should get at least 4 hours or so where it doesn't pull any power off the utility. Right now, because rectified AC power in is 330 volts, and 330 is what's coming from my solar at best, right? It's dividing up the current. It's like half. And I noticed that when I pull off the solar, it like doubles what the current draw is off the utility. So fan, well, we could that in a second, but that's my main goal is I want to make it pull more power off the solar, and it should pull all of it off the sun during that peak time of the day. Before the peak time and after, as the solar sags the voltage down and it drops down to 300 volts, it won't go under 300 volts because this will do pulse width modulation to keep the bus up to 300. So it will, basically the AC unit will always run, and it will automatically divide up, tapping the two sources. It should be awesome if it works. And with this reactor coil in here and everything in here, hopefully it kind of cleans up the power. I'm hoping for to, you know, get a better, more accurate reading coming off the utility power and everything. It's just charging capacitors through diodes. There's no back EMF or anything weird like that, or reactive power going back from capacitors backwards to a diode. So none of that should be playing any role on my utility power, but high current, quick, short pulses, you know, and when you charge a capacitor that drop down in voltage and your sine wave comes up, it's going to be a lot of current just real quick. You never know how it might fuck up that damn New World Order meter they got on the side of our house that monitors all our appliances and shit. So who knows? But anyway, so there'll be a couple circuit boards in here I got to build, and something I'm gonna be doing for the first time also on here. They're still working. Is regulating high voltage. I've never done that before. So I've experimented with an optical isolator, just varying some voltage and see if it will vary. I could vary the output by varying the input to some degree, and it will. It worked. So which I figured it would. And eventually you just saturate, the output. But the goal is to use one of those to isolate. So I'll use a voltage divider off the 300 volts to break it down, to bias the diode in the input of the optical isolator. And basically, I think it says the max current was 60, maybe it was 80. It's milliamps. So as long as you calculate your resistors and everything, you won't blow it up. And basically, if I do a voltage divider, to get the voltage into the range I want, it should be able to get it to work. And then on the output, we'll just take 5 volts, from a power supply or sharing with the microprocessor, and it'll just when the voltage starts dropping, it'll vary the output just enough that I can set it up and make it control the pulse width modulation. So, yeah. Craig's saying do a video on that scam fill filter. Have to get people. Oh yeah, I'll bring that up in a second. So anyway, that's my goal with that thing. Hopefully it works. Hopefully none of this stuff blows up. These rectifiers are scrap from another Mitsubishi unit, but guess what? It's the same exact 2 rectifiers that are on that heatsink out in my temporary one I built, and they don't get hot at all now that I have the fan on there. But the reason I put the fan on was because it was inside a box with the cover on it. So I'm thinking with this being under here, it'll be fine. I know these would have been fine by themselves, but I don't know what these MOSFETs are going to do. They could generate some heat. But I'm hoping I'll have to add a fan, because you can't add a fan in here. It won't do any good. The fins are out here. So if it produces too much heat, I'd have to maybe add on something and then an enclosure just to make it watertight, I guess, and put a fan in there to blow air across the fins. I really don't think I'm going to have to. I think it's going to be fine, but we shall see. I think these were rated 20 amp continuous or something, or maybe it wasn't that much. But I know in a parallel these MOSFETs, and the peak, the pulsed current was way the hell up there. And these are 600 volt MOSFETs or whatever, or maybe 400 volt. I forget what they were, but they're not going to blow up. I got a bunch of diodes also to add, just so they don't, for protection. I had to order those because I'm not used to having their high voltage. So, yeah. And then somebody was saying something, and then yeah, you'll get, John, you'll get a lot more when I have the pieces together. It'll make a lot more sense, especially when I can maybe do a actual, show the voltage in and then the DC voltage and then what it looks like and everything. So that might be kind of cool. So Craig's talking about is, I don't remember if I saved into the photos. Let's see. I put it in here. I've been seeing these ads, and I don't know if they're tailored ads for me, but it's on all the social media sites or just websites I've been opening. But it's basically in Facebook, stuff like that's really pushing these promoted ads, and it's all these websites that are come and go. They're disposable website URLs, and they always add extra numbers and everything in there. It's a total scam. Remember I made a video, guys, a while back of a dash cam that I bought that's supposed to be the upgraded version of the one I have in my work truck. But what I got a month or 6 weeks later from China or whatever was actually a lower model than what I had, so it was bait and switch. Probably got what I paid for because it was $20 or something instead of 30 or 40 what the other one was on Amazon. But still, false advertisement, right? And took forever. And the website, they keep advertising it, but keep changing the website. But all the font, all the videos, everything's the same. Well, the latest one that's going around is for a fuel filter, and it's been popping up for the last month or so. Well, I'm this thing can't possibly work as a fuel filter. It's just no way. So I go to my one folder here in my car. Maybe I saved a picture of it. You guys got to see this thing. Well, I'm looking for it. Here's a picture of something called Pookie Buster. I think I might have saved it because I was going to get it, but then I saw the reviews. This thing sucked. But this is a cool idea. Look how it's teeth on the outside to rip through the Pookie and then you to zip out the screws when you're taking ductwork apart, huh? That's pretty cool. Let's see here. But there's this other scam thing. That cat. I don't know if you guys can hear the cat, but it's Piece of shit audio cut out again, huh? So this fuel filter, as they're calling it, is people started saying, no, dude, that's a freaking firearm suppressor. And I'm like, what? So yeah, look at this thing. It's like it says right here, free. I've zoomed in and adjusted it. You could see it, 9mm, black collar arms, Austin, Texas. The video and the website they have says fuel filter, and it shows like one rubber hose stuck in one end. It has it laying under a car hood. God, I thought I made a video of it. What'd I do with it? Because that would have been something I definitely should have shared with you guys. Nope. Oh, wait a minute. I found it. All right, guys. Here, I got a video clip of it. I did make a video. It just saved to a different spot. So check this
What's
thing out.
up, guys? Do a quick video here. We need some comedy relief, especially after the day I had.
Oh,
so this ad keeps popping up everywhere, and I haven't seen something as stupid as
I found it. This is the same exact style websites, the same fonts, the same. They always put a price, then cross a line through the price, and say what they're selling it for. Remember the Fuel Doctor? I already played this video for you guys, I think, a while back. The Fuel Doctor, that was always funny when I checked that thing out a while back. Oh, no, this isn't the same scam, people, but it's a different scam. This is that evap cooler thing that they said will cool a whole room within like 30 seconds. Dang it. Where is that latest fuel filter scam? Man. Yeah, some people were talking about that. That they were saying it was ATF was Traxxam, but then somebody else said there's no way they could like nail you for that. Especially since it's being sold as a fuel filter and you could just totally play dumb. But of course, if they catch it on your gun, but it is a silencer. Damn it. I saved some pictures and stuff of that the other day. Maybe it's a different spot. I have a folder of a bunch of just captured images. Looking through real quick. I'll put that back up while I'm waiting, looking. Dang. Huh. I thought I recorded it, but I might have just recorded it enough just to thing. Just so I could get that screenshot out of it. But the website, you guys will see it. Catch it on the weapon and all your arms go. Yeah, it's like crazy. And that's another thing. Don't even get me started on that shit. But the government has no right to tell you that you can't put something on your gun to make it a little quieter. Those things do not make your gun silent like they do in the movies. It just takes the harshness out of it, And they do. So I think some people might argue that it makes it harder for people to pinpoint where you might be shooting from if you're snipering them. Maybe there's no good excuse for ATF and all them to be, infringing on your rights to have that or have a bump stock or whatever, So I don't just lick Trump's boots, even though I have to. Sometimes I feel compelled to defend him from all the slander, but I don't just lick his boots. Craig and I both went to the freaking the Second Amendment thing they had a while back. And then they had these Trump banners everywhere, and it was like him being this perfect Second Amendment advocate. But I'm like, no. I go, he's not Hillary Clinton for sure, because we'd be screwed. But I'm not going to just like say he's perfect Second Amendment because he bump stock bans, red flag laws. Fuck that. It's like, he infringed our rights a little bit right there. So, but yeah, it's like the cops, man. I've been critical of the police for a long time. Grew up in a boss hog town, but with all the craziness going off now and just, them getting murdered and stuff, you can't help but to want to defend the police sometimes, especially when the media lies. Within 24 hours, 48 hours, people leak out the real uncensored video clips, body camera, whatever. You see the truth. CNN, MSNBC, all of them. double down, still fucking lie, you know, and show that same stuff. You know, I'm like, what the hell? Trying to say they're all systemically racist and they targeted certain people. I'm on live stream.
Why?
I'm almost done. All right, it's almost 10, or it is after 10. But anyway, you know how they are. Yeah, that's what I say too, John. It's just like the media lie. So the same media that's telling everybody that there's like a freaking virus that's going to kill them. And by the way, if you didn't watch the media, you wouldn't know that there was any sort of pandemic right now. It's all media driven. But the same media that's telling you that, it's the same media that convinced a bunch of people to burn a bunch of their own cities down and their own private businesses in their neighborhoods and everything. I say that loosely there because I've come to find out that there's a lot of the same people being bussed around, you know, to these different cities, and then they recruit people in those cities. So I got my camera aimed that way, Poopy.
Hey, well, it's time to get off.
All right, so she's getting ready for bed, so boop, put the camera like that, and probably have to end it. Maybe next time I do a video, I will find that fuel filter scam, which is really a firearm suppressor. Yep. Yeah, the news is crazy. I go on I like Twitter, at least there's a lot of people rebuking the news and calling them a bunch of liars. Like 9 out of 10 people are rebuking the news, you know, the local news that's on there that I follow, and it's funny, you know, people just telling them to shut the hell up, you know, why don't you report on all the survivors of the COVID, you know, and I saw like a thing earlier today. Oh, I think I saved it in my phone, but guess what? Because there's an app on here. It opens up over here. Anything that's pictures that are in my phone instantly show up in the app. It was my daughter like 10 years ago. So right here. Okay. Nope. I just moved it there. It's drag and drop, man. This is Microsoft's phone companion app, and basically make phone calls. There's my screen. There's I gotta unlock it. There's the phone. I mean, I could control it without even touching the phone. I can also go into the photos. So right here, oh, that's something I made. Where is it? Oh, over here. Sometimes it might be personal photos in here. I don't know. Trying to see. I saved an image into it earlier today. I thought it was on the phone. I probably deleted it already. But it was basically about the survival rate, and it had it broken down in brackets of age. What'd I do with it? But I don't know. This is pretty cool though, because these pictures, like if I, this is my phone. It's looking into my phone, which I also sync to my computer with OneDrive anyway. But I could grab instantly, go, oh, here's a photo, just move it right over there. See, I already have the photo there, so in this particular case, it's asking me that. Let me put in something that's not in there. Boom, the photos is right there in that folder from my phone through the Wi-Fi in my house. That fucking fast. That's pretty awesome app. So phone companion, you gotta put it in your phone and set it up. But I can. That's why I was getting all those notifications earlier when I first started the live stream, because my apps, the notifications show up right here. Oops, I don't want to show because I have personal stuff in there, but they all show up there. You can even, if it's a text message, it pops up here, and I can like click the box. Looks like a little miniature Cortana box, and type in my reply and hit reply. I don't even have to open the other part of the app, and just have text messages going back and forth while I'm busy on my computer. I can answer text messages on the phone without even touching the phone. It could be over in the charger. So anyway, if anyone can't figure out that the Joe Biden YouTube commercial against Trump are silly and stupid, I don't have anything to say to you. Oh, people die from everything. Yep. Yeah, and there's a Trump video here that's freaking awesome. I don't know if it'll get me in trouble from playing it.
Rapidly rising.
This is awesome. I'm going to end I'll play this to end my live stream. I'm just going to put on full screen. But you guys enjoy this, and then I'm going to end the live stream when this video ends. So enjoy. We'll guys catch you later in the week or after the weekend or whatever. Late.
With, I don't know. Why doesn't he just act like a president? That's a stupid way to say it.
You know, Donald Trump was asked on...
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, probably best I
don't know what I was going to say.
Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday, and I want to thank you all. I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? I would eliminate the capital gains tax. I would raise the capital gains tax.
We choose unity over division. We choose science over fiction. We choose truth over facts. I commuted every single solitary day to Wilmington, Delaware, over 500 miles a day. 250 miles a day.
All right, Chuck, thank you very much.
All right. It's Chris, but anyway.
I just did Chris. No, I just did Chuck. I tell you what, man, these are back to back. Anyway, I just can't figure the guy. It's like watching a yo-yo. I shouldn't have said it that way. It's like watching.
It feels that way. I want to ask you.
I'm coming directly to you for ask a quick favor. And I tell you what, I'm so darn proud. And those poor people who have lost, anyway. I've been here a number of times. Last time was, I think, all the way back in 2014. But I've been here before that. I love this place. Look, what's not to like about Vermont in terms of the beauty of it? And what a neat town.
If elected, you would turn 82 at the end of your first term. You'd be the oldest president in American history. Are you willing to commit American history? Yes.
We should make sure that we have no one going to jail for a drug offense. They go directly mandatory prison.
I would see for immediately moving toward, we're in fact in a position now that if in fact we dealt with mitigation across the board, just what we did in the last administration and before, leading to a standard that we provide efficiency for appliances. That saves billions of gallons of gasoline. I mean, billions of $2.3 billion worth of, $500 billion in savings and 2-point-something billion metric tons of CO2 going in the air.
Electric vehicles, in fact, the biggest problem is you can't stop to charge. We should have charging stations along every interstate highway in the country. Yeah. You pay for it just like you did gasoline. Sure. Well, if you can do that with bicycles in town, and you can put a nickel. No, I'm serious.
Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids hear words. A kid coming from a very poor school, a very poor background, will hear 4 million words fewer spoken by the time they get there.
What is that first issue for your presidency?
The first thing I would do is make sure that we defeat Donald Trump.
You've already done that.
You get a tax break for the racehorse. Why in God's name couldn't we provide an $8,000 tax credit for everybody who has child care costs? It would put 720 million women back in the workforce. 4 more years of Donald Trump will go down as an aberration. Hard to overcome the damage he's done, but we can overcome it. 8 more years of Donald Trump will change America in a fundamental way. The America we know will no longer exist.
By the way, it's my little sister, Valerie, and I'm Jill's husband. Oh, no, they switched on me. This is my wife. This is my sister. They switched on me. I'm prepared to say that I have a record of over 40 years. Yeah. And that I'm going to beat Joe Biden. No man has a right to raise a hand to a woman in anger other than in self-defense, and that's rarely ever occurs. And so we have to just change the culture, period, and keep punching at it and punching at it and punching at it. If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight. Oh, yeah. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but you're... Why attack standard? Why? You're getting nervous, man. Calm down. It's okay. 150 million people have been killed since 2007 when Bernie voted to exempt the gun manufacturers from liability. There are probably anywhere from 10 to 15% of the people out there who are just not very good people. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by God. You know the thing. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
It's a long way into November. We got more questions
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. I'm ready on day one after more than 3 years in office. Why isn't Donald Trump ready? Mr. President, wake up. Because we cannot get reelected. We cannot win this reelection. Excuse me, we can only reelect Donald Trump.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this.